Can see my screen. So today I want to talk about like how to build this repeatable B2B marketing engine on LinkedIn, specifically without having to spend a lot of money on paid ads. By the way, I was looking at when you guys sort of like came into the webinar. One of the questions was like, what is the number one thing that you're struggling with? And I saw a lot of people were struggling with this idea of how do I create content, but then how do I t tie it to like business growth? And so that's kind of like what I'm going to talk about here. By the way, this is like a question that I've had for so many years now since I've been doing Build in Public. And just at the start of the year, I was like, I think I'm getting kind of getting the hang of it. So I'm going to share all of that process with you. So if you don't know me, my name is Suk. I'm the CEO of engyne.ai. I used to be an engineer at IBM Apple Saks Fifth, but I've been a full-time founder for the last 3 or 4 years and just working with go-to-market and trying to figure out LinkedIn for growth. So that's me. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I worked at Apple, IBM, Saks Fifth as an engineer. Really, I could build products, and so I've shipped like 36 products in the last 8 years. But the issue has always been, and this is the thing, the number one thing that kills all technical founders is how do I sell this thing? Because I think most of us start off by being like, well, if I can build a product, the product is the business, but that's actually not true. For a business to exist, there needs to be two things. One, a product, and number two is distribution. What are you going to sell and how are you going to sell it? So until you have both those things working in unison, you're not going to have a business. So everything that I'm going to talk about, that's what I applied to the company I was working on last year, and I ended up selling it at the end of last year. And really, honestly, like, so I grew up in India and I came to Canada in about 2014. So spent like 10, 11 years. And I was going back and forth between India and Canada for during my childhood as well. So for example, I was here in Canada in grade 4 and 5, and then I went back to India. Then I came back to Canada for grade 9 and 10. Then I went back to India to do grade 11 and 12, and I came back to Canada to do grade. I had to do grade 12 again to get into university. So that's kind of like been my childhood. I didn't go to MIT. I don't have like rich friends that can like give me money, or I didn't have even my parents are like we come from a humble family, so it's not like there's like a money bag that I can access or like even a network that I can access. So everything that I've gotten has been from just building in public and building a network around myself. And the way I've been able to do that, and specifically, I use LinkedIn and Twitter in the early days to be able to do that. But by doing that and showing up consistently, I've been able to do a couple of different things. So I got top 10 in this AI accelerator program that was across like many different countries. I think like 100 plus countries. I got top 10 out of 120 AI founders last year. Techstars is if you know YC, Techstars is number two to YC. It's kind of like an accelerator as well, where they give you money, but they also give you 3 months of in-person kind of help. So, but the thing is, like, it's very hard to get in as a solo founder. In fact, it's actually pretty hard to get anything as a solo founder, whether that's investment, that's accelerator, or like yeah, if you want to go like fundraise, it's very, very difficult. But I was able to get in as the only solo founder in the cohort. Everybody else had like a 2 or 3 person team. Um, the product that I sold last year, I got 220K in ARR just from building in public. And just last 2 weeks ago, I got an angel investment, and that was all from content that I've been posting on LinkedIn. So I really believe in it. I've done it. I kind of hate when people sort of like talk about things in like general terms. So I specifically do things that are talk about things that I've done, and I know that work, and I know the things that don't work. So what you're gonna see here is like all of the things I've tried, and like worked, and like all the things that haven't worked. So I speak from a place of experience on this thing. And so it's not just myself that's like right like doing the building in the public. I've been able to help a couple of more people as well. So this person, they started seeing me post and they started like posting every day as well. Their goal was to get a job And so when they started building in public, they had people reaching out to them to, give them a job, and they ended up like accepting a job offer. And so that all happened because of, posting. Here's Harsh. Harsh also is a SaaS builder that I've known. Uh, Him and I, we used to always build stuff together. So, he was watching me build and like talk about stuff. So he kind of started doing the same thing. By the way, the content is one of those things that doesn't actually, I think it's platform agnostic. That means if something works on one platform, it actually, there's a 90% chance it will work on other places as well. So this is like a Slack community that I'm part of, and it's called RevOps. It's like the biggest Slack community for salespeople. So I posted this long thread on there one time, and this is the head of community, Mike Cubberly. He was like, "Man, this is the best post that we've seen." I ended up taking that post and putting it on Reddit as well, and it did equally as well. So you can see like these are the Reddit posts that I posted up. The on the bottom right one, I just posted last week. This was a LinkedIn post that did really well. So I just copy pasted it, put it to Reddit, and it did really well. The top left one was the same one from this Slack thread, and it did so well that it got like 320K impressions and then like 900 upvotes, right? Like it just like completely blew up. So all the stuff like around content, I've done it, I've lived it, and it works really, really well. I think you just need to know the playbook behind it or the thoughts behind it. And all these sort of learnings has taken me 3 or 4 years to get to the point where like I think I understand kind of the game now. My goal with this webinar is that I want to save you those 3 or 4 years. I don't want you to take until 2030 to understand kind of like what's the playbook behind this. I want you to know this within the hour. So that's my goal. So if I don't do justice to that goal, please do let me know. If I do, please let me know of that as well in the comments. That would make my day. All right, so let's get into it. So a few months ago, I was like really desperate to like find a way to grow my business. And like everybody, I tried SEO, I tried cold emailing, and I tried like paid ads as well. In fact, at the beginning of the year, I spent $4,000 USD to do ads on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a couple of other places as well. So again, I wrote this. This was the 900 upvotes Reddit post that I was talking about. So let me show you like my experience. So at this time, I was like spending a little bit less, but eventually ended up spending like 4,000. So I did Google Ads. Basically, I started off with Google Ads, and it gave me like a cost per click of like 5 cents. I was like, great. The next day I put up the same ad, it gave me a cost per click of like $4.50. The next day I put it up, it was a cost per click of $7. So for every click that I was getting onto my ad, I was paying $7 for that. And this cost per click doesn't mean cost per install. It's not that this person actually became a customer. It's just like literally to get them to click. So Google Ads was like very like the CPC was very odd. It would go from like 0.05 to like $7 back to $2. So it's very like variable that way. I tried meta ads. In terms of ads, like meta ads work the best, but I was targeting countries that are like non-North NA, so non-North American, and the cost per click is was like reasonable. It was like about $1. I tried TikTok ads, I tried Reddit ads, I tried like newsletter ads. They worked fine as well. But point is, I spent a lot of time on these ads and I didn't see like much impact on the money I was spending. And the biggest thing was I would spend $1 and maybe I would get $1 back. $2 getting a $2 back is just like a dream, but I wasn't even getting $1 back. So I stepped back and like this is a reality with ads or just Facebook ads specifically. I pulled up a number, but you're on average you're spending about $12 to $13 per 1,000 impressions on Facebook. That means if I want to get 100,000 impressions, I'm paying about 12,000. In the last little bit that I've been posting on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn posting history. I've been able to get the 100,000 impressions with $0 because literally by showing up and just like talking about what I'm building on LinkedIn, I was able to not save, but I was able to get the same um, reach impact that I would have gotten with ads just on my own with content, right? And so this is like really, really powerful because if somehow I don't have to spend money and I can get the same reach, that's like the ultimate positive scenario. So, if you haven't like done stuff with the paid ads, you need to spend at least 10K to train the Facebook pixel. It's not like you can like put in a $10 and get the same get like leads. You have to spend a lot of money to like train the pixel, and then at some point, your CPC and like cost per lead, cost per like million impressions, CPM, all that starts to like level out. It's not a plug and play sort of thing. It's not like you can flip the switch, turn it on, turn it off. You have to like invest into the paid ads channel. You also have to like sit down and again, it's not like you can like upload a bunch of keywords and have it, hey, Facebook, I've given you the money, like, you do what's best for you. No, you have to sit down and figure out what keywords work for your audience, what countries you want to target them in, what type of images you want to put up, what kind of messaging, all of that stuff has to be figured out. And the biggest one is, man, you need a daily spend. You can't just turn it on and turn it off again. You have to have some sort of daily spend to. So people, I know people that are spending $1,000 a day to just keep that sort of paid ads engine going. The cost, by the way, vary hugely between month or month. In fact, Facebook ads cost like 5 times more than what they used to a couple of years ago. So the money that you're paying to get the same customer now is like dramatically higher than what you would pay a couple of years ago. So what I want to talk about is how do you do this organically? How do you use LinkedIn to be able to drive these B2B leads without having to deal with this paid ads sort of scenario? And I'm going to talk about like the three mistakes that I made that I started when I started out. And I think those three mistakes kind of like cost me a year, 2 years of my life because I just didn't know what I didn't know. And because I didn't know that, I couldn't fix it. And so what I'm gonna talk about, there's been a couple of founders that I am following on LinkedIn, and I'm seeing their strategy of like how they build this like B2B marketing engine for themselves. And then I'm gonna show you, I'm just gonna break down exactly how they're doing it in the flow chart so you can just copy, what they're doing right off the bat. At the end, I'm going to also show you how you can work with me to build your personal brand as well. I don't want you to spend 3 years trying to figure this stuff on your own if I can help you do that in like the next 30 minutes. All right, so let's talk about the three mistakes that I did. The first one that I always see other people do, and I had the same thing, which is like having this business owner mindset. Now, you'd be like, man, I'm running a business. I am a business owner. Why should I not have a business owner mindset? Well, the thing is, if you walk into a party and just start pitching people of like, hey, buy my service, buy my thing, people are gonna start running away from you pretty quickly. So that's what I mean by a business owner mindset is like always trying to think of ways that you can rope this guy in or like trick this person in to be able to buy your service. That's the number one thing that, when I work with new business owners, that's what they think about is like, okay, if I post this one, post, how does that is gonna turn into a revenue for me. And instead, what you want to have is a creator mindset. So if you've seen people on like TikTok go viral on like Instagram, whatever, they have a creator mindset. What they do is they just think about how do I provide the most value right now to my audience? That's the only thing that they talk about or they think about. Because let's say I'm talking to you right now and you're seeing my content come up. If you trust me, you will buy whatever I have to buy, like whatever I have to sell. But if you don't trust me, you're never gonna buy a thing, right? So instead of like me trying to shovel my product on your faces, it's can I get you to trust me? And if you trust me, then the business will come on its own. That's the creator mindset. The second thing that the creators do is they try to give everything that they know for free. And so again, the question comes up if I'm giving everything for free, How do I make money off of it? Well, there's always, like Alex Hormozy says is the best, which is like whenever you solve one problem, 10 more problems show up. And you're gonna need an expert to come in and kind of help you. And if you have a problem and you need it fixed today, out of the 10 people, who do you pick to help you? It's the person that you trust the most. That's kind of what it is, right? So the creator first mindset is to always be providing value and to think about like the number one thing that you want to build up is your trust factor versus like, okay, how many leads came in from this click, whatever. So it becomes like a longer term game versus like a short one. Whereas paid ads, you can definitely take that, hey, how many people clicked on there and how many people, became a customer. Like you can take that short term mindset and like apply it there, but that doesn't work on LinkedIn and like content in general, right? So I was doing that from the get go, and my posts were all about my business. So it was like, hey, I'm building this thing, engyne.ai, please buy my stuff, please buy my stuff. And like you can only do it like one or two times before people start being like, man, I hate this guy, let me block him or whatever. In fact, I was trying to look for an example of this, but people send me like LinkedIn pictures all the time, like in the InMail. You probably seen them too, and it's literally like a massive essay being like, "Hey, so here's what we do. Bullet point one, bullet point two, bullet point three. Is this something that you need help with today?" And then like message me here if you do. Um, that is a business owner mindset. It's like, I'm gonna like message 20 people and I'm gonna try to, get them to buy my product. So you wanna like flip that around and like to the creator first mindset. I actually didn't know, and this is like the weird part of it is like if I create content and that resonates with people, how does that turn into sales eventually? And I think the answer actually I didn't know this from the get-go. So I was just creating content for the sake of creating content. But now that I'm like 2 or 3 years in, I can see the impact of that. And the impact is I have right now 5,000 people that are connected with me on LinkedIn. I can actually go and ask. So every person I'm connected to might be connected to like 20 other people, right? So if I go to one of those 5,000 people and I say, hey, could you connect me with like so and so, or like, does anybody in your network need so and so? They would be more than likely to help me connect with those folks. But it's because like they trust me. You don't do that for a stranger on the street. You don't just go like, oh, I'll connect you with my network. No, it's somebody that you trust, that you would do that for. So now that I'm, 2 or 3 years in where I built up this trust with people, by giving, 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 I can make that ask. The number two thing is, and I'm gonna actually show this in the last piece, which is like the how to build a marketing engine. The more people trust you, the more people buy from you. It's that easy. But if nobody trusts you, nobody's gonna buy from you, right? So it doesn't matter like how many times you go on Reddit to like people do this all the time, which is like they will create a random post, like a random fake story to like promote their product, and people can smell that like a mile away. And you can only do this like one or two times. You can't do it over and over again. So it just doesn't work. Man, who feels cringy like when they see like LinkedIn content or like Reddit content, just like content creation in general. Who feels like it's a little bit cringy to do so? Yeah, all right, you feel that's cringy, yeah, for sure. I felt the same way, and I was like, man, like it's always like, hey, this happened to me in my life, and then this is what I'm learning out of it. Or like people just talking about, their kids and then their business at the same time. It just feels there's something like inauthentic about it. Um, and I think that's the thing that stops everybody. Like most people that, yeah, it's very ego driven for sure. Yeah, if it works, come in. Dermot, total cringe. Yeah, it feels fake. It feels like odd. And there's definitely like there's like billions of people that use whatever LinkedIn, and like so many people use Facebook as well. So there are elements of people that like do that cringy stuff, but then there are other people like us that are like, man, I want to provide value on building a business. I think there's something I can do for the world, and I just want to put my message out there, and I want to like help other people as well. So there's those kind of people that are floating around. You just don't see them in your feed. The reason is LinkedIn only shows you stuff based on like what you interact with. So if you don't interact with anything, then it's going to show you whatever random stuff. My feed right now is all people building stuff. So it's like somebody who's like, I figured out this thing, or somebody else is like, oh, I did, XYZ thing and it didn't work for me, right? So it's all people like that. But the reason for that is I go out of my way to first create content that's like that. So I attract people that think the same way or like that appreciate or resonate with my content. And number two is I go out of my way to help other people that are doing the same thing as me. By that I mean like building businesses. So LinkedIn and all social media platforms like use your activity as a way to build up a profile of you and then serve you content based on that, right? So if you're seeing cringy stuff come on your feed, it's just a matter of like tuning the feed by sending them signals of like what kind of content you do like, and then I promise you, we'll get so much better. So, I was scrolling on LinkedIn just literally like 40 minutes ago, and I added this slide in. Look, it actually cuts to exactly what I want to say, which is like you can be cool and sit on like a hill and just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that cringy stuff, right? But the thing is, if you don't play the game, you're not gonna win the game. So it's only when you start playing the game that you start seeing the rules, you start seeing the players, you start seeing like what the rubric is, and you start getting a little bit closer to your goals. If you never play the game, you sit on the corner, in the back of the room, you're never gonna start and you're never gonna get anywhere. Only 1% of LinkedIn users actually post. The 99% of people just chill, they just hang around. Same on Reddit, same on all other social media platforms. Majority of people are lurkers. Just go in and they read. They don't like actually participate. So if you do take that first step, you'll get closer to your results. I promise that. But also you'll be in the minority of all of the people that are using that platform. All right. So I'm not going to just going to talk, but I'm going to show you people that are doing it. So the founders that I pulled together for this thing, there's three of them. Adam Broda, he helps people he's like a career coach. So he helps people get a new job. And so he has like 500K followers. Then Jacob Bank, so if you know Zapier, he basically has an alternative to Zapier, which is called Relay.app, like a fantastic company, and they're doing really good stuff with like AI agents in Zapier. But he does stuff on LinkedIn and way woo. We did an accelerator together in SF, and I've been seeing him build his company. It's called Momentic, which is it's automating QA for companies. So very different types of people, but I'm going to show you how all of them use LinkedIn to drive sort of like leads. Let's start with the first one. Let me show you. Do I have it pulled up somewhere? Yeah, I do. So this is Adam. And you can see like look at the number of followers. He has like 500K followers, and all he talks about is about like career coaching, like if how to fix up your resume, how to do interview, all that kind of stuff. But he talks about that daily, right? So if I go to his post here, actually this one that I pulled up was a good one. So here's a post that he put up. So it's like every day I get questions about job strategy, and like, he's answering the common questions that people have about resumes, about like career coaching, about like rejecting your applications, typical questions that people have. And all he's doing, and he posts every day, by the way, he just comes in and he gives answers to those questions. That's all he does. He just comes in, answers the questions that people ask him. That's it. Um, he never tries to sell his actual services in these posts. You'll never see him actually say, I am a career coach, book a call with me here. He might say it once in a while, but like that's not the way he kind of like operates. It's very value first. So if I'm a person that is looking for a job, I'll read this thing and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. So like, length is an important, ideally 1 to 2 pages. Okay, so I wanted to know like how long my resume should be. Looks like 1 to 2 pages. Great. I got some value out of him. You know, he shows up in my feed 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Fourth time, I'm like, I'm still unemployed. I still need somebody to help me. And looks like Adam knows what he's talking about. Let me see if I can like get in touch with him. Right. So that's the way he runs his strategy for LinkedIn to be able to like bring people in. Massively successful. Massively successful. I mean, like just look at the followers, like 500K. You don't get 500K followers if you're just like randomly if you're like a grifter or like a scammer. The second example I have is Jacob Bank. So Jacob Bank, let's pull him up. I've been following him for the last like couple of months, and I absolutely love how he like what he does on LinkedIn. So like I mentioned, he builds this company called Relay.app. It's basically like Zapier, so he can build up automated workflows. The thing that's different about Relay is that it uses AI inside it. So all he does is shows up and then he just gives education around, hey, I'm gonna like teach you AI agent fundamentals. I'm gonna teach you this flow I built up. Here's a copy paste link, just use it. He again, webinars, again, he talks about like, oh, I built this AI agent. Here's it for free. Just go out and use it. And never talks about, hey, you can actually build this thing in Relay.app or like, hey, please guys, like I'm building this Zapier alternative. You should use it because XYZ, and that this is why it's better. This is the pricing, and then here's a link to the thing. He never says that. But take a look at the number of people that appreciate the value that he's giving out. So 123 people commented, 137 people like the stuff. And the Adam was at 500K, he's at 50K followers, right? So it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, more followers mean more reach, but it doesn't matter too much in B2B, specifically how many like followers that you have. Anything over like 4 or 5K is generally good enough. The last one I'm going to show you is my friend Weiwei. So, actually, before I do that, I was reading one of Jacob's write-ups on how they went from 100 customers to 1,000, and I thought this quote from him was very telling. So he said in the last 8 months, he's been going fully into LinkedIn and he's a CEO, right? Like, so his time is very valuable, but he's like putting a lot of time in. He said he went from like 5,000 in the last 8 months to 50,000 LinkedIn followers. And then he was getting 100K impressions and now he's getting 5 million impressions on his posts. So if we were to like go back to our calculation of, this, like if I was to pay that in ads, the number of impressions, I'll be spending like 100K to get that much impression and reach. But he's able to do that for free just from his LinkedIn account. So, so what I mean is like you have to really think about the impact of at the end of the day, you need eyes. And so paid ads is one way of doing it, but this is another. But this is one's way more potent because if he's able to go from 5,000 to 50,000, he can in the next 8 months go from 50,000 to like 250,000. And then all of a sudden, this reach gets even bigger, right? So it's an exponential function on growth. Whereas it doesn't matter if I spend 100K on ads today, I'm gonna have to spend another 100K in the ads like next week or next month. I'm not gonna have a leg up. Whereas in this case, Jacob does have a leg up. So basically, like, the point I want to get across is like he says that LinkedIn has become his like the top of funnel rocket for him. All right, I want to show you the third one, and it's my favorite. So Weiwei. So Weiwei and I, like I mentioned, we went to the same accelerator. So I've been seeing his journey from the very start. What he builds is this thing company called Momenting.ai. So he's a CEO of this Momenting.ai. Basically, what they do is they do QA testing with AI. That's their thing. And they signed up this customer Notion. Like these are massive companies that they've signed up. The way that he signed all of them up is from his personal LinkedIn. That's how he's done it. So in this post, he talks about how he got Notion. The way he got Notion was from a meme that he posted, and then somebody on the Notion team was like, "Oh, that's great. Let me see if I can follow up with the founder." And then that became a Notion deal for Momentic. And I mean, I'm sure like I was very curious about what the meme was that he posted. So this is the meme that he posted. So see if I can make it bigger. So this was a meme. So this is Simon. He's from Notion, and he's like, oh, is anybody working on AI agent to perform browser tests? And then he responded with this meme, and this got him the meeting booked. That eventually got him the Notion deal. So that's the way that like he's been able to do memes work. Absolutely. It also like so I have a different sort of like talk on how to create content. Do memes work? I think the question basically becomes the underlying question there is like, does it provide some sort of value, whether that's like entertainment or like informational, right? So like you need to figure out what, and you can always mix the two. So if it's like funny enough, that's entertainment value, and like somebody might see it. And this is actually like a pretty technical meme. It's not like a just like a one for everybody. It's like very specifically for QA engineers. Like Cypress is a tool that people use right now for AI testing. Doesn't work. Momentic, their product does work. So it's always worthwhile like testing if you are a person that knows good memes. Weiwei is like a meme master, so like I think he knows how to make them, but it's worth always trying. But I think that they work. Anything that basically can capture somebody's attention, or make them feel like, oh, I learned something. Basically, that content piece has done its job. Now, whether that's a video, webinar, post, it doesn't particularly matter. Yeah. So that's like everything like that. So I've been following these founders for the last couple of months, and I've been seeing them do this over and over again. And basically what they do is they found their sort of their right fit of like the content they want to create, and then which is valuable for their audience, and then they basically rinse and repeat every day, right? They show up every day, and these are CEOs. Their time is the most valuable time, and they spend it on LinkedIn creating content. So that should carry some weight on like how important this is for them. Now, we talked about like the mistakes I made and then the founders that are doing this, but like let's cut to the chase. And how do you do it? So what I did was I actually went through and I figured out how they're doing it. So like the engine that they've created. So here's the way they operate. So right off the bat, they first you have to create content that resonates with your audience, right? So this is coming in with a creator first mindset, creating content that your audience will appreciate, whether that's entertainment value or that is like actual educational value, right? So one of the two. Then what you want to do is you want to make a list of people that find it useful. So this will be people that are commenting on your post. These are people that are viewing your profile. These are people that are leaving likes. So all those people, there's a group of those people that are like, man, I love what Jacob wrote. I love what Ari wrote, whatever. So you would create a list of those people that find the content that you write useful over and over again. Now, what you do with that list is then you check if they're your ICP. So if that's a person that you want to actually work with. If they're not that person, great. You can just ignore them. You don't want to work with them, so you disqualified them. So they're not a fit. But if they are, you're gonna DM them to see if you can help them in the DMs, right? So the reason why you want to DM them is because they've already expressed interest in the stuff that you're doing, and also they trust you, which is the reason why they left a like, they viewed your profile, whatever. They're in sales terms, they're warm lead. So you go in and in the DMs, you send them a message being like, hey, how can I help? Right? Instead of going, there's a product I build, whatever, yada, 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 please go buy. You say, how can I help? Right? And so based on that discussion, because they already know you, you should have a pretty good chance of like helping them and then eventually closing them, right? Now, How this turns into an engine is like whatever discussions that you have in your calls, discussions here, you record them. So whether that's a meeting recorder that you have, or just like you take down notes on, what are the main questions like people keep asking over and over again. You use that to create the content. That's it. So you create content, you find the people that are liking your stuff, see if they're ICP. If they are ICP, DM them. So do an outreach, and they should have a pretty good chance of closing. And then whatever conversation you have there, use that to create new content at the top. You do this over and over again. That is exactly what all of these other founders do. So let me show you go to Adam Broda again. So Adam had that post, which was around like resume tips and tricks, right? So here, resume tips and tricks. So people that are liking this post or like leaving comments, they found the information here valuable, and presumably they're probably looking for a job. So you would scrape all the people that are in those comments and then go to their DMs and then send them a DM. Hey, are you looking for a job? Is there a way I can help? That's it. That's the engine. That's how you do it. With Jacob, it's like, hey, I saw that you're looking to like you found this AI agent resource helpful. Is there a way I can like automate your workflows, right? That's Jacob. If it's Weiwei, it's like, hey, I saw that you liked my post about Cypress, Cypress, the software that they all use, breaking. Is there a way I can like make that easier for you for your QA testing? And that starts up a conversation, and they're much more likely to listen to you and not just delete your message right off the bat. So that's the way all of these folks are doing their strategy. So I'm going to take a pause here. I'm going to let you like take a screenshot of this thing, and so you can apply it to your own situation. Sweet. Okay. So to sum up, LinkedIn basically has the biggest set of B2B audience that you'll ever find. Everybody there has a job, and they all are networking and looking for their next big thing. And they're always looking for new tools, new services to help them with their current job, right? So if you are present there, you'll have a pretty good shot of like running into these kind of folks that could be your customers. So you want to adopt a creator mindset versus like like a founder one or a business owner one. The biggest thing is if you want to win the game, you have to first start playing the game. So even though it starts off cringy, I promise that it gets better, because the more you post this kind of stuff, the more it will come back around to you of like LinkedIn will start resurfacing content that you will like, because you're giving them a signal of like what you don't like and what you do like based on the content that you're creating. Every day, you want to create the content that resonates, then make a list of these people that like your content, and then all you do is try to help them in the DMs. Yeah. So, all right, yeah, give me, I'm almost done. So let me open up the questions right after. And yeah, so this actually is quite a bit. So what I do is like I do personalized one-on-one strategy. That means like coming up with a strategy for you. I have a bunch of tools that are built out for Engine and Carousel Studio, which is like a carousel maker for LinkedIn. You'll get playbook to turn like you want to like turn your people that are reading your stuff to followers, and then you want to like turn them into revenue as well. And there's a couple of like outreach templates that I have that's worked for me. So I basically provide all this stuff in a program. Uh, it typically is like a 1200, but because you are present on this call and you stayed until the end, it'll be 1,000. Yeah. So I hope you found it like useful. I try to make everything a little bit more experiential for my own learnings. If you want to like follow me, I'm on LinkedIn.